mine 12 years. It's Wednesday morning, 6 a.m. And I should have known it was going to be a really strange day when my husband and I woke up at precisely the same moment. No alarm clocks, nothing. Now, there was still some romance in the air back in the day, so I rolled over with a smile on my face, which vanished the instant I saw said face, because spots. No, it wasn't so much that there were spots on his face, it was more like there was a cluster of spots, and lurking behind it somewhere was a face, which actually had, it looked as alarmed as I felt, because spots, right? Now mine weren't wall to wall like his were, but, so we sat up, we started examining ourselves. They were freaking everywhere, arms, legs, inside of the ears, palms, like places they shouldn't be, right? Now, my mother-in-law was visiting from India, and she'd just been diagnosed with shingles, which is a close relative of chickenpox. So, and my husband and I had neither been vaccinated against it, nor had we had it as kids. So, even with my terrible math, we could put it together. And so we fired up our phones to do some research, because a few decisions had to be taken, including should we be sending our 6-year-old son to school that day? Now, he was vaccinated, but we didn't know what kind of germs the little monster was incubating. I mean, would he be going into school and converting the entire first grade into polka-dotted zombies? We don't know, right? So we asked Dr. Google, and Dr. Google reassured us that schools in Massachusetts are full of vaccinated people, and that our son would probably not be a weapon of mass destruction, unlike us, because we were going to be out in the wild or surrounded by people we didn't know. And we could really be a threat, especially to pregnant women and the immunocompromised. So we took that very much to heart. But then it got even worse. We read the next link, and it actually said that when adults get chickenpox, it can become fatal very, very quickly. So basically, you could, in the span of an afternoon, go from doom scrolling to dead, like the nail that someone just ate previously, right? Not a good look. Not a good look at all. But then the very next link that we saw said, well, if you're strong and healthy, you'll beat it in 3 days. People, do not look to the internet for your solutions. Why do we not know this? So we got so hassled, and of course we didn't know what to do next. Our doctor's office wouldn't open for 3 hours, because obviously you go to the doctor for this. The Doctor's Express, on the other hand, one of those walk-in clinics, was open right then. So we nudged our kid out of the door, kind of pointed him towards the bus stop, and then we took ourselves off. So we entered the walk-in clinic very, very carefully, making sure our poxy bodies do not touch anything, and telling anybody within a 5-foot radius, we could be infectious, stay away, don't breathe. We even told the nurse, please put us in the same room, we don't want to hurt anyone, and she jumped to it. In fact, I'm pretty sure the moment I said the words chickenpox, she reached under the desk for a flamethrower to sanitize all the surfaces that we breathed on or even looked at. So she ushered us into this room, and we settled in to wait for the doctor. By this time, our heads are hurting because we have a fever by now. We're itching at all the blisters like a particularly, ridden dog. And those Johnnies, oh my God, those awful things they give you with your butt hanging out. Cold air was getting places where cold air has no business to be. It was not feeling good. Before we completely lost our minds, there was a knock on the door, and it opened, and in came the most stunning doctor I have ever seen. She had this wild mane of blonde hair, waved tumbling down her back. Black leather boots, spikes this long. No, a spiky heel this long that came up above the knee. A black skirt that was so short that I could see that few inches of space in between was black lace. Eyeliner, thick black coal as if she was from India. And lipstick so bright I wish I had shades. And my husband and I are looking at each other. I know it's awful. We shouldn't be judging people by how they look. But seriously, this is our doctor? That's not even a lab coat. No stethoscope even, right? And we're looking at each other thinking, this is the person when she opens opens her mouth and goes, hey guys, how's it going? Everything hanging well? And she's like got this California Valley girl thing going on, and we're like, I managed to stammer out, I think we have chickenpox. And this is her response. No, that is so cool. I've never even seen chickenpox. She's doing this little hopping dance and going, woohoo! Until then, I was entertaining a bit of a fantasy that maybe she was actually a patient who had wandered in from one of the other rooms, who'd been out all night at the bars, or a costume party, maybe where she had somebody had slipped her a little peyote, maybe, I don't know, something else. But she removed all doubt when she pulled out our chart, and said, okay, I see. Wow, this is just the coolest thing that's happened today. My husband at this point was starting to really get annoyed, and he's like, well, can you confirm that we have it? And she was like, cool, of course. For sure. Like she was a teenager, which was alarming on a whole different level, because she was not a teenager, she was middle-aged, like me right now. And so she bounces out of the room, my husband and I are sitting there. It was a 10-minute wait in which we just sunk deeper into our misery, and romance took one more step towards the grave. Because you try sitting with your beloved while they are in a Johnny. There are things that you are never meant to see in the harsh glare of daylight, like 9 o'clock stubble on a woman's leg, or like that hole on a man's sock that shows you the gnarly toenail that you never see, really. And those hospital Johnnies, of course. But we didn't have to wait too long. The door opened. I'm gonna call her Dr. Goth, because I don't know her name, and she was very blonde and black. And so she came in, Dr. Goth comes in, and she comes in holding a printed image of chickenpox. She holds it up against our arms one by one, and then she goes, yes, mesh, this is so cool, you guys have chickenpox. My husband and I are open mouthed looking at each other going, this is not real. And I swear we could have maybe had a modicum of respect for her excitement at expanding her medical horizons if we had only not seen the website printed on the bottom of it. Anyone want to take a guess? Where that came from? No?
WikiHow.
Close. Wikipedia. And at this point, I can see my husband's like head starting to like steam coming out of his ears, and he pulls it together enough to tell her that my mother-in-law, who has shingles, just got an antiviral cocktail to, minimize the chances of death from this, and could we maybe get it? And she goes, oh, well, I have no idea, your guess is as good as mine. And he's like, well, can you maybe find out? And so she goes, bounces out of the room again, saying, hang tight. And then I'm going to hit her at this point. But she leaves, probably to look up Wikipedia, and we sit there, and thankfully this time the wait is not very long, which is a good thing, because my thoughts were shifting rapidly from my own impending death to hers at my hands. And as much as I hate the hospital Johnnies, the orange of a prison jumpsuit would not look good on me. I just don't have the body for it. And so she came back quickly before any harm could be done, and she came back this time with a sheath of papers, and she shoves it at us, and she says, here, this is all the literature I could find. And I'm like, you're right, you guys are so smart, there is an antiviral drug out there. You should read up on it, because you guys look like scientists, and I have no idea where she got that from. It couldn't have been the 10 words that we spoke to her. Part of me was thinking maybe my blisters are spelling out scientists, like Charlotte weaving in her web. But we take what we can get at that point, and we've just had it. So we quickly leaf through until we find the sheet that's the prescription, because this Dr. Goff had gotten it together enough to write us one. We take it, and we're exiting the room before we can do her any real harm. But not before she gets one last shot in. She's like, hey guys, thank you so much. She does a freaking dance. She's like, now I know how to do chicken pox. She's going around on her spiky little heels, tossing her hair. And that was it. As you can tell, we did not die grisly deaths. I don't know what's coming up, but chickenpox didn't get me. Not get me again, because now I'm inoculated. I got it, right? That Doctor's Express, this was 12 years ago. I've been back there so many times, and I have never seen her. So some part of me still wonders who the heck treated us that day. But I really hope that she was a doctor, and I really hope she's getting lots and lots of patients with chickenpox, because one thing we know for sure is that she does know how to treat chickenpox now. Thank you, everyone.